Hello, this is Katie from Crafting Ruby Dreams, and welcome to my channel where I talk about planners, goal setting, writing, publishing, and getting right with my finances. So today we are continuing on with MäksēLife's 2022 year-end reflections. Again, you do not need a booklet like this. I find it useful for keeping me on track and having a guide, but this is something that you can absolutely do on your own. If you want to use the questions that are presented in the booklet as I read them as prompts, or just kind of writing things down on your own. Um, Today, going to try and work through gratitude. There's that one because I finished with growth yesterday, and also what's working. There we go, and what's not working. So that's my goal for the next 30 or so minutes. I still have a few more sections to work through, but if I can get through those three, I think that will be good. I was just looking at a calendar trying to figure out between what I already have on my schedule and a rough goal of what I would like to do for Vlogmas going live. And so I would like to try to do 12 days of Vlogmas, but I cannot guarantee that I would be able to do all 12 days because with being back in the office after COVID for at least 4 days over the next 10 working days, and the fact that I am flying back to Chicago for spend the holidays with my family at the end of next week. I've got a lot of stuff already on my plate over the next 10 days, and being home with my family means that I can't guarantee that I will actually be able to do live streams. I think 12 days is a reasonable goal for me, but like I said, I can't guarantee it. So please keep an eye on the community tab, and I will absolutely post ahead of time of when I will be going live. Oh my goodness, it's snowing in Portland, West Coast Portland. Luckily, it is sunny here, not too cold. That's actually one of the things. DC and Chicago have very similar summers, very hot, sweaty, humid, and uncomfortable, and sometimes deadly. That's a whole thing that has scarred me for almost 30 years now. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole of how long that has been. Anyway, it is, but the winters here in DC are much more mild than in Chicago. Though we do periodically get blizzards that will dump multiple feet of snow on us. And so, yeah, it's, oh, thank you, Carrie. Yes. And that's the thing that I think, um, not having the weight of that expectation is a lot less. It greatly reduces my stress because I can already tell you, as for example, tomorrow I have to go into the office, so I have to commute. I also have to run an errand to a couple of errands to a completely different part of the city, and also at 8 p.m. is the first of MäksēLife's live goal setting series, which is going to be here free on YouTube on their channel. So I highly recommend checking that out. It'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern. I can almost guarantee, because of where I have to travel to in the city to run the errands, I'm not going to be back home before 8 p.m. So if I was to do a live tomorrow, it'd be very late in the evening for me, and I kind of need to wind down before bed so I can get a reasonable amount of sleep before going back into the office on Tuesday. So yeah, I I was thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, there's no way I can like squeeze in the time of doing a live tomorrow in a way that's comfortable and reasonable for me. So, and because part of what I was trying to figure out, and I think this is a good one of the reasons why we plan, and to have an idea and an expectation of our time. And it's also part of what Sarah Cannon preaches in HB90 is having a reasonable understanding of the time you actually have available. Um, a One of the things she talked about in her speech at the Romance Author Mastermind, this is an example that she kind of goes into HB90 with when doing the ideal week exercise. And that is blocking out the time that you already know you don't have available. Like if you have a day job like I do, I have to take into account the actual time working and the days I go into the office, my time commuting, even though because I don't drive into work, I can spend some of that time doing like admin or very quick drafting sprints on my phone. And I have done that actually while waiting for the bus because it was going to be 15 minutes for the bus. I could do a quick sprint on my phone, but it is good to block out that time because if you don't block out that time, you are going to build into your work expectation schedule. How did she phrase this? So if you have in a 90 day, not 90-minute, though you could do a 90-minute period. If you have it within a 90-day period, you have say 80 days worth of work. But when you build out your ideal schedule and block out the time like you spend with your family working a day job, whether it's a part-time job or a full-time job, um, volunteer commitments that you have, and other things, you only actually have like 50 working days available to you, but you already have booked 80 days. And so you're trying to squeeze in all of those time and projects, and it's like it's not possible. Oh, thank you, Carrie. Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the other thing is you have to, if something is important to you, you have to figure out what you can do to adjust in order to make it work for what your schedule is. And so doing YouTube, what I realized is that the editing portion was what was really taking up a lot of my time and energy in a way that was not productive for me. So that's why I moved to doing live streams, especially once I found StreamYard, where it's easier for me to do a live stream where I'm still under 1,000 subscribers, which is perfectly fine. But that means I can't live stream from the YouTube app. So once I figured out a way that I could live stream, then it's just like, oh, okay, I'm perfectly fine doing a live stream um, off the cuff. As you have all seen, I very rarely actually plot stuff out ahead of time in terms of what to talk about, other than a very, very loose idea. But once I figured out how to live stream, then I was able to like cut out all of that editing time and put that time towards other things that were a higher priority for me, like writing and doing the day job. So that's why you kind of like have to plot out what is it that is important to you and what is it that you absolutely need to do and how much time do you have available to do all of these things. Again, the exercises within HB90 and the amount of times that I've worked through those have been really helpful. Like I love Sarah's got, and you can see these in the planners that you can just get without having to go through the boot camp. Um, by the way, the planners are up for sale on her Etsy shop, but she's got who- a three-part exercise, technically four parts, but three lists of I think it's what I need to do, what I should do, and what I want to do. And you do like list out everything on those three lists. So need is basically stuff you've already committed to. Should is basically what you feel like other people are advising you to do. Like if you have a newsletter, and everybody says, well, you should set up automations, you should set up segmenting. Um, Personally, I believe in doing those. I will be doing those, but your newsletter as an author or business owner or whatever may not be an actual priority for you. So it's something that will definitely be helpful, but it's not coming from a desire from within you. It's more you keep hearing everybody say that this is something you should do. And then want to do is stuff that you absolutely want to do, but you haven't committed to. Like an example for me is that I've got this story idea that I'm like, yeah, I would really like to write that. That would be really cool. Except that particular story idea is not in line at all with what I am envisioning for the new pen name that I'm launching next year. So it would require a new pen name, and a different business plan and model. So there's a lot of stuff that it would require of me that I just don't have time for. And then the fourth part of that particular exercise is going through and prioritizing everything on those 3 lists. And I found that particular exercise extremely helpful in figuring out what my personal priorities are and, organizing how to work on achieving them. And then the next part is, okay, how much time is involved in doing all of these things? Like I've just spent part of this morning working on implementing the edits as I did a read through of the book and figure out, okay, so in chapter 1, these are the edits I want to do, chapter 2, et cetera, et cetera. So I just went through, did another read through of chapter 1 and implemented the edits, and it took me half an hour. So I know it's going to take me around a half hour per chapter, and I can now build that into my production plan and figuring out the timing of all of this. And so that was another thing out after I finished doing that edit round and I had a good idea as to time. I then went through and looked at my schedule for the month and plotted out, okay, can I actually complete these edits that I want to do by the end of the month in a reasonable manner? Again, taking into account the demands on my schedule and things I've already committed to, and hard cannot change, like flying back to Chicago. And there's something else with regards to that, that knowing how I work, and this is something I learned through strengths training. Um, I'm talking about like all the things that have helped me and changed me. So growth from yesterday, over the course of the last couple of years, and learning how I work has been really important. So I know that when I'm back home in Chicago, because I am with my family and I'm very relationship focused in how I work. So it's really important for me to be present and spending time with my family. And so I will push stuff out of the way work wise so I can do that. So when I'm here in DC and by myself, I am very, very productive because I do not have lots of people constantly around me and me feeling like I need to be responsive to whatever is going on in the moment with them. And so, yeah, so that's no understanding how you work is also a good part of planning and working on achieving your goals, whatever they might be. So let's go ahead, since I've been talking for almost 15 minutes, let's go ahead and start working on the booklet. So for gratitude, the question is, what am I most grateful for in 2022? And so I'm really starting out kind of talking about all of this I are things that I'm very grateful about. So I'm gonna write Better Faster Academy. So BFA is how I shortcut that, community, and working with them because they have significantly contributed to my growth as a person, as a business person, and like I said, understanding how I work. I'm also putting the MäksēLife community, because of working with Club Moxie and everything else. Um, Crafting Ruby Dreams community, because I really, really appreciate all of you and how you cheer me on and just being here. And I just really, truly cannot fully express how appreciative I am of all of you being here, because it really, truly helps me doing things like this, it's like as in almost a co-working session kind of way. It helps keep me accountable for getting done what I would actually like to get done. Let's see, BFA, MäksēLife. There is a Slack group that I am a part of that has also significantly contributed to my productivity levels and an accountability sense. So, Watt Slack. And it's populated by a lot of authors who I respect and I'm friends with, and their levels of success and experience helps challenge me into thinking bigger and trying to figure out what I want to do that and both in terms of the work involved as well as how to write the books I want to write in order to achieve how I define success by seeing how they worked to achieve their definitions of success. So it's really, I think, beneficial to me. For it's I just it's been great. And then related another author group, and this is a smaller group that I've been working with for over 2 years now. And I'm just gonna write that down and their names specifically. And so it's because I'm so people oriented, everything I've written down so far is groups of people. So, um, I'm also gonna write down access to healthcare because that is something that I'm very, very grateful for at this point in time. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Let's see, and that falls under access to healthcare. You know what? Doctors who listen to me, because that's not always the case. Me, you know what? I'm also going to write down authors who write the books I love to read because I don't know where I'd be today right now without that. Um, yeah, I think this is trying to think of like some of the wins and highlights that I'm most have had a big impact on me, and I think, yeah. Um, oh, I just thought of one other one that I can retire my former pen name as a USA Today best-selling author. I'm also going to put in telework. And I'm going to significantly hope that we are able to keep telework at least as it currently is at the day job. And I'm going to leave that at that. So, yeah, so those are some things that I am most grateful for in 2022. This is probably the longest list that I have so far. And yeah, it is, but that is significant. All right. What's working? I know that when I did, so one of the weekly questions that MäksēLife has in its weekly reflections list of questions is what's working and what's not working. So they do have both of those. In fact, I've got Han Can Plan. She's one of a number of sticker shops that has preset questions. So my wins. So I should probably go back for my wins and check to see what I put in there. What worked, what didn't work, lessons learned, adjustments needed, was grateful for this week. And this particular one was one that Hannah added into the list. So, so as you can see, pretty much all of those questions have already been asked. So, like, what wins, lessons, uh, what's working, what's not working, and adjustments are all present in this booklet. So if you've done the weekly reflections at all for MäksēLife, then a lot of this should be somewhat easy and may also already be documented if you've been doing it through the course of the year. So really should probably go back. It's another reason why I enjoy having a basically journaling version of MäksēLife, so I can figure out and go back to and work on this booklet a little deeper. So, what are things that are currently working well in my life? And I'm going to try to look at 2022 as a whole, because sometimes I can be, when I'm responding to questions like this, very in the moment, like literally what has just happened to me within the last 24 hours. So, I have this particular question and what's not working. I sometimes have a hard time pulling back and looking at the broader view. But yeah, so what I would say what's working is I'm going to start off with keeping and my doctor's appointments and advocating for screenings I think I need. So yeah, that was a very good one, because I pushed for having that ADHD screening. That's been a significant aspect to my development over the last 6 months, because it took a while for me to get the appointment. And so you definitely should advocate for yourself if you think that you need a screening for some kind of mental health concern. So also, honestly, really so significantly for me is that author Slack group that I mentioned. Because working with those ladies in like a co-working space and a place that we can have some accountability to each other without feeling pressure or stress. Because I think that's the other thing. If you are looking for accountability, um, try to find a version that is not going to add even more stress, that is not helpful for you. Because sometimes you need a little bit of stress knowing that, okay, I need to be accountable to this person. So find a version that adds the right amount of stress that helps you actually do what you want to do, as opposed to adds a stress that is like, oh no, I can't do this, and you walk away. So it's like one that gives you energy and positively challenges you to do what you want to do. Um, oh, thank you, Halima. I hope that you find it useful. It has been a very useful thing for me. And one of the reasons why I chose to do it the way I did it this year, or at least mostly do it the way I did it this year, was because I've been doing all the strengths training. And I think I've talked about on the channel before. In my top 10 strengths, I have all of what is known as the time strengths. So context is looking towards the past to inform the future, I believe, is the short tagline. And that's very much a strategic thinking. That's falls within their strategic thinking domain. And I'm so not a Clifton Strengths coach, but they can go into more of it if you're at all interested in learning more. Um, and then the my next one at the very least is adaptability, which is being responsive within the moment, especially to people. because it's a relationship building strength. And then the third one is futuristic, which is another strategic thinking strength, which looks towards the future. So I have all three. So basically past, present, future. So I thought that doing like the journaling version would be a way that would help feed my context and give me like what Becca Syme calls energy pennies, and definitely has, and it's given me a way, something that I can look back on and help figure out patterns in my life. So what I would like to do at some point is go through the entire journal and just see if there's a specific pattern as to how things changed in whatever way. And so, yeah, so I plan on continuing with this journaling version into 2023. Um, I'm still taking a little bit of a break because honestly, COVID just really threw me off my game. So I just may take all of December off as well. But I plan on starting back again in January because that's something that my brain is like, okay, January 1st, even though I'll still be in Chicago. It's usually a flipped switch for me, let's say. So, all right. What else is working? Trying to think. I'm gonna say go with the flow reading, uh, where I just am kind of responsive to whatever catches my attention. So I will have multiple books going on at a time. Flow, go with flow reading. Um, you know um, what has also worked with reading is audiobooks, even though I still haven't quite finished many because they're nonfiction, so I dip my toe in and out, but audiobooks are also helpful. Oh, good question. Have you finalized your 2023 planner lineup? No. I I was expecting to at this point have done it, but c- COVID having COVID threw me off of so much stuff because for basically 2 weeks, almost 2 full weeks, I was just in my bed watching YouTube and reading, and that was pretty much all I did for those 2 weeks, and getting my brain back into the swing of things has not been easy because once I like finished my convalescence, let's say, I was then back to working the day job and also trying to get back into getting the writing done. So, in terms of thinking about planner stuff, I have an idea, but I wouldn't say that I've finalized it, and I might not actually finalize it until January. But it is definitely on my mind. I keep going to, I think what I'll be doing for like kind of like future planning with regards to MäksēLife is the companion notebooks, which I've got the new set here. Let me, oopsies. I gotta clean off this planner desk. That's on the list for today. Yeah. So I've got the 2023 version of the companion notebook. So I'm pretty sure this will be my like forward planning for all my life. Then I also have a 2023 Hobonichi cousin. So this will likely kind of be like my daily planner as opposed to using MäksēLife's daily planning system. And then I actually do have two MäksēLife flagships that I'm planning on using. One for my, it's a horizontal for my regular journaling. That is the one with Cindy Gunther Baldo's cover, because I just really love florals and I'm also so happy to support Cindy. It's a gorgeous cover. But I also decided to get the, what is it, the watercolor cover for with the vertical. And what I'm planning on using that for, and I'm totally skipping uh, the goals in that. I don't plan on doing anything with that. I need to figure out um, if anything, I want to do with the weekly reflections page. But in terms of how I plan on using that, is basically using it to track the year of of the tasks that I do to support my publishing. And so that I have something to look back on in future years as well, I had a new release, so this is everything that I did for it. This is how I launched a series. So basically, it's a version of what I'll be doing in the horizontal. Horizontal is for journaling and marking down my wins, my highlights of the week, also mood tracker. Um, but the vertical is just basically writing down contacted 20 influencers, because one of my goals for the launch of the new book and the goal is just contact 1,000 influencers, not to create a business transaction with them, because I had somebody ask in another forum when I mentioned that particular goal. So, are you going to pay them? I will not be paying influencers to do anything for me at this point, and not because I do not value their time. I absolutely do, but I do not have the budget to put in to see any kind of ROI. That's one of the things, is that their time is absolutely valuable, but the return on investment, especially with my budget, which is extremely minimal, is just it'd be basically me throwing away money. So the goal for me is just to contact them and start building a personal relationship. And it's like, offer, hey, do you want to read my book, with no expectation of getting a review or anything like that. But just make that offer to them. And if they choose to pass, they choose to pass. It's not anything personal to me, because if they only do things with payment, then that is absolutely their right. And I'm glad that they are drawing those boundaries, and I'm totally cool with that. But it's just, the goal for me is just to contact that many influencers. So I'll just be marking down things like that, like wrote 1,500 words that day, edited a chapter, created graphics to put out for social media, that kind of stuff. And that way I get a decent idea as to also maybe how much time is involved. Let's see. Learning and leveraging book tech seems to be a more profitable way to acquire new readers. Yes, I'm actually taking a course in January. It's called TikTok Sells Books, and it's run by Jean Ryland and Lila Dubois. And if you sign up for their waiting list, you will likely get a coupon for the next course. And so January is the next one. They are right now, for the most part, teaching it quarterly. And if you get a coupon, it's about $299. If you don't have a coupon, it's $349. So, um, and yes, a lot of authors seem to be finding success promoting themselves on BookTok. Yeah, it's like some people definitely find it worth it, and absolutely worth the time. It takes some dedication, as with anything, but if you are somebody like me who has a very, very low monetary budget, spending the time learning how to use TikTok, and then figuring out what works for you and the books that you create, and so therefore what resonates with your target readership, that can be extremely valuable if you can do that. But you also have to understand that there's going to be a lot of frustrations. The TikTok algorithm is frequently changing and being tweaked. The features that are available on TikTok don't always roll out to everyone, it seems. So it's like you have to be willing to put up with the frustration. But yeah, so that's how I'm planning on spending my time. Let's see, figure out a couple of more what's working. I'm going to put leaning into my top strengths, and I'm also going to put live streaming for YouTube, because I really like doing this for YouTube. All right, what's not working? Cleaning. It's always not working. Finding time for cleaning. It's just a perpetual pain point for me, let's say. Not only pain point, but pain in the tuchus. Let's see, what else? There's got to be more. Um, Budgeting. I am budgeting is that's always a frustration point. And specifically impulse spending, because there's stuff that I just really want to like, oh, that's interesting. That's absolutely what I want. That's going to meet a specific need that I have. And I justify a lot of it by um, thinking, oh, that's something I've been thinking about for a while. So I have put a lot of thought into it. It's like it's been turning in the back of my brain. But do I actually really have to spend the money right now? Is it an immediate need, or is this something that caught my attention and I'm totally justifying it? So that is not working for me. What else is not working? Honestly, and being the only person helps if I spell that correctly, responsible for all capital letters underlined the decisions. That also is not fun. So those are more existential stuff. So I know that there's probably more stuff that is not working. I was about to say recovering from COVID, but I am absolutely I'm recovering. I'm being chill. It's just it's a frustration point rather than a point that of something that is not working. Um, oh, you know what, Carrie? I've definitely heard of YNAB. I am also going to try a no buy in certain categories. I think part of the problem for me is mindset around money in certain areas, and I sometimes feel like I need to have a personal financial manager who I have to have frequent interactions with to help make me responsible for a lot of my spending decisions. And I don't know, with trust issues, let's say, I don't know how to go about doing that. Still, yeah, I think we're always on financial journeys. Um, Carrie, I can't remember if you're a writer or not, but if you are, a book that was frequently like almost everybody who I talked to at Romance Author Mastermind um, was really into, at least to read. There was a wide range of reactions to the book, but a lot of people had read at least part of the book, and that is Write, WRIG, not right as in playwright, WRITE, To Riches by Renee Rose. I think that it's like the cover is like says right to riches, RIGHT, with right crossed out and right, WRITE, like written above it. So oh, congratulations. That is a wonderful thing. Yay! Seriously, that I'm so happy for you, because I still remember the first time I won Nano, and and knowing that you can do that, that will be helpful to you as you move forward, and knowing it's like, hey, I did this, I can do this. It may feel like I can't then for the next one you do, but you now have the knowledge of, hey, I have done this before. Oh, Halima, interesting. I'm interested in YNAB after using the budget mom process for so long, but fell off the tracking. But you need a budget seems intimidating. I am with you. I've looked at YNAB and I feel that way too. That's almost like why I think I need an actual person to be responsible to. And again, this is also looking at my strengths and knowing what my strengths are. I'm very relationship oriented. And so having an actual person, it has been extremely helpful for me in other areas of my life where I need some accountability. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. All right, it is actually 1:40, and I have been on this stream for a while, and I've lost the counter to tell me, oh, there it is, almost 40 minutes. So I need to get back to editing. I actually have to go over to CVS because I think I mentioned this yesterday that I needed to go over to CVS to get a medication. And as I was like third in line, their registers went down. They couldn't do anything. And it turns out that the order that I thought I had placed on Friday had not actually gone through. So I need to have a talk with somebody about actually getting this prescription filled. So that is on my agenda for the day. I think that's another thing that need to start like incorporating is actually having brain dump lists every morning as to what needs to get done, whether or not it's something that I can actually do today, but just do a brain dump of everything that needs to get done, and then go it back in and figure out if it's something that I can do for the day. So that is another tip. So I'm hoping to be back again Wednesday evening, and I will for sure update the community tab once I make that decision, which will probably be on Tuesday sometime. Because I might try to get on Tuesday, depending on when I get back, when I think I'll be getting back from the office. But I will keep you all updated. Please watch the community tab. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again within a couple or a few days. And may all your dreams be Ruby dreams. Have a great day. Bye bye.